Well, first off, my apologies to longtime pop viewers. The movie reviews won't be up till Saturday. Why? Because it took a long time. We got out of the movies almost 6:30. Took a while to get them done. Had some issues uploading verses. And that won't even be a video you guys will see until Sunday. So this is your Friday video. I thought I had nothing else to talk about. I still got one night of Halloween Horror Nights that I have yet to discuss on here, so why not? Why not talk about Halloween Horror Nights? Exactly what I'm going to do. And this is not the last Halloween Horror Nights video you will see. This is going to be the last day-by-day, blow-by-blow coverage video you're going to see. Now, once the event is completely over, I'm going to talk rather openly and very spoilery about all the houses, scare zones, and shows. So we're going to talk about that sometime next month. So after the event is over, when it's all said and done, I will do my final Halloween Horror Nights video. And very soon, hopefully, going to be doing some videos with the Horror Nights Updaters as well. So doing another podcast with them. Had a great time doing a Horror Nights Updaters podcast with HHN Trogdor, my friend Matt. So that was really cool. But we talked about them, obviously, on a previous video. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. And last night, I probably forgot to mention, don't recall if I did or not, it's late, so we'll see. I will say that last night, of course, being Saturday, September 27th, the last night I went to Halloween Horror Nights before this one was the night that we did the compound meetup. We got to meet Doc, we got to meet the Voodoo Queen Mamba, as well as her very stoic, very completely silent henchman who freaked Joe out, and it was hilarious. Sorry, Joe, it was still funny. And we got to have dessert at the Hard Rock Hotel, and just like minute desserts. We got to go through Halloween, just me and Joe alone. And after everything was all said and done, after we got to hang out with the Orlando United guys as well as Tim, we got to go through all 8 houses, as well as hit Rocky Horror and Bill and Ted. By and large, was probably one of my most successful evenings for Halloween Horror Nights. Completely blown up, sitting in a chair in Antojitos, drinking free ice water, and I was having issues getting picked up. Mears was having transportation problems. They weren't sending shuttles, they were sending cabs, and they had no way of contacting me, so there was all sorts of telephone tag with Mears, but no problem, everything was smoothed over. I got out and went back to Pop, obviously, because the next day I was going to check into Old Key West. So instead of going over in the morning at Universal, I decided to go over in the afternoon. Now, at a last-minute decision, I tried to get over in the last bus to go over to Universal, but I did not make it because they didn't send one. I was thinking, it's a value resort, they'll probably send one. If not, I go walk over to AOA, I can catch the bus there. Nope, didn't send transportation to Universal for either one, so I was out of luck, and I was headed over to Old Key West so I could check into my room, which that video, of course, came out as well. So, like I said, I was enjoying my last night at Pop that night after coming back from Horror Nights, just basically enjoying my last night being sleeping and last-minute packing, which basically I did the day before just to make sure I was completely ready to go. Went over to Old Key West, unpacked, and headed out to Universal. So I headed out to Universal, and I got there, and I was like, you know what? It's my last night. I'm going to splurge. I'm not going to buy merch or anything like that. If there is any merch, and this is going to be on camera, so you know that I'm serious. If there is any merch left over, even Walking Dead stuff, if there is any merch left over by the time I get back to Universal property, which will be the 8th of December for Halloween Horror Nights 24, I will buy it. Why? Because I want more mementos of the event. Even if it says Walking Dead on it, I still wouldn't have it at this point, unless I already own it. So, if it is the Walking Dead lanyard, or it is the HHN 24 lanyard that they sold at the front of the parks, or those little kiosks that sold express as well, or if it was the Chucky Uni Mini pin or vinyl, or if it is the shirt that I'm currently wearing, or if it is the American Werewolf in London shirt that I've already worn. Obviously no, because I've already got those. But if it's anything else, like an AVP shirt, a Halloween shirt, even if I somehow find a way to get my hands on a Halloween Horror Nights 24 hoodie, even though it says Walking Dead on it, I still want one. So if there's any merch available, you can bet that I will buy it. Because I love the event so much this year. So I get there and I'm going to make one last splurge. And what's my splurge? I've been having issues with wait times. I knew it was the last night. I knew that I had a game plan for the evening. And my game plan actually changed as I progressed in the night. I would state that I was going to finally see how the other side lived. And I was going to actually splurge on Express. Well, luckily Express was actually cheap for this night. So $60. So it was $60 in change. Obviously with tax included. So I was like, okay, fine, it's no big deal. It's the last night, might as well. Obviously, I was hoping to be able to get in all 8 houses one more time before I was done, and I was bound and determined to see Bill and Ted at least twice. Well, I'll explain what I did in a minute. So, I got my Express Pass, and I'm wearing my lanyard, and I head over to Finn's for Stay and Scream. So I'm chilling out there, and I'm enjoying the air conditioning that is hitting me when people walk in and out, because I'm standing right by the door, because it's open. It's propped open, because Finnegans is like a madhouse for Stay and Scream, because there's people, obviously, that are waiting to get in for horror nights, there are people that are actually eating, and there's people that are actually lining the bar, and there's even a small group of people that are using it to go to the bathroom. So, there's always that, and it's like crazy trying to get everybody around. So, I'm standing in the path of the door, like where it's open, and I'm standing there next to the barricade, and of course I was in the wrong section, but it was okay because I was getting some air conditioning. It's nice and warm that night. So I get over there, and it was like, alright, fine. I finally get over, and I run into the actual barricade section. I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to get ready to go, and once they let us go, I'm going to head right for Alien vs. Predator, obviously, because that's pretty much what you do. When you're in the Finnegans Stay and Scream area, you head right to AVP. So that's exactly what we did. And we finally get there, finally get to AVP, and immediately there's a red flag. This AVP run reminds me of the first AVP run I had. Didn't really get many scares. There were some bros in front of us, so it was kind of like, yeah, they were kind of like maximizing their time, and I wasn't even able to really see much because they would get it. They were the ones like, you can't scare me, those kinds of bros. So yeah, I really had to deal with that. And it was like, you know, okay, fine, my last run of AVP ever at Halloween Horror Nights was not the greatest, so it kind of really impacted my enjoyment of the house overall. But I will state that the walkthrough I had on Saturday night, the 27th, was making up for everything. So I had a kind of a lackluster final run-through of Alien vs. Predator, but overall it actually went up a little bit in my rankings. We'll talk about that in the preceding video. I'm not going to give my final rankings until I do my final video, so we'll talk about that next month. So I'm hanging out, and I go over to From Dusk Till Dawn, and I usually never had, once again, just deja vu. I'm hanging out, and I go through From Dusk Till Dawn, and once again, just like AVP, I don't get a very good experience. My last run through From Dusk Till Dawn, very lackluster. I missed a lot of scares. So, yeah, it really sucked, because my last run through of Alien vs. Predator and From Dusk Till Dawn, just not very good. So, yeah, it was kind of like a red flag went up. I was like, oh no, this may not be good. Head over to Giggles and Gore, obviously, it quickly becoming easily one of my favorite houses. It's challenging Halloween for my favorite house of the year, and obviously Halloween cannot be defeated, cannot be beaten, because after you go through a house where it's just you and your friend, and you're the only ones in there, yeah, there is nothing, no other experience, unless I went through myself, and when Joe bombed out, it pretty much took off. I had to go through some of it myself. I will state that it was quite an experience, and it cannot be topped. So, it was really hard for anything to beat Halloween. Giggles and Gore is the closest thing that came there, and I always had great, consistent runs of Giggles and Gore. It said 10-minute wait. Okay, first off, for anybody that knows this, you know the disaster queue line lies. If it says it's 20 minutes, it's probably 30. If it says 45, it's probably an hour. If it says an hour, you're going to be waiting for almost 2. So yeah, I mean, it lies. It just totally lies. So I'm standing there, and of course this is the last night. I'm not hanging out with anyone, so I'm not playing heads up with anybody, or I'm not, like, hanging out with friends. No, I'm just by myself, just hanging out. By myself, enjoying the show. So I get through Giggles and Gore, great run through, great final run through, get everything I needed to see. The girl, the really cute Harley Quinn, yeah, she's spot on. The discarded, really on point. The guy at the end, obviously, once, like I said, it ain't over until it's over. I did not get me. Actually got a couple people, like 4 people back from me. I actually had to look backwards, heading out of disaster to be able to spot that. So, great run through of Giggles and Gore. Giggles and Gore and Halloween were consistent every single time. I never had a bad walkthrough of either house. The 6 others, I had at least one bad run. But I will say right now, Giggles and Gore and Halloween never had a bad run. And even if I got a chance somehow, some way to go back, I still think I wouldn't have bad runs. So, before I went to Giggles and Gore, I skipped over it because it's not the greatest still. Still didn't get into Dracula. I will say after watching Dracula Untold, the movie today, I will state that the house still doesn't make as much sense. I mean, like I said in the video, which you'll get to see tomorrow on this channel if you're checking it out for the Dracula Untold review from AJ, you will see that the soldiers getting hit by the arrows, like when you get hit by the air cannons, I thought that was awesome. And that's in there. A lot of the, some of the Draculas are in there. The one that looks identical to Luke Evans is in there. And some of the scenery is about the same. That's about it. Dracula always looked nice, but I never got a great run-through of it. Which is a shame, because I had to go through it every night. And Dracula Untold is the main reason why I got screwed up with being able to go through at least 7 houses on this final night I went to Horror Nights. Because I had to wait a long time for it. And this wasn't a house I should be waiting for. So, with my Express Pass, I'm allowed one walkthrough and of every single house and the 7:30 showing of Bill and Ted. So I'm like, alright. So I set out on a new mission. I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch all 4 Bill and Teds tonight. Why? Because I love the show. Obviously, my girl's in there. And when it comes down to it, it's one of my absolute favorite parts of the event. So I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to watch all Bill and Teds tonight. I get into the 7:30 Bill and Ted right after Paradise City, which for good reason, if you know me, is one of my absolute favorite parts of the show. I know it's the beginning of the show. Basically, when we're doing the We Will Rock You is when I get in, actually. So I get in there, and I watch the show. Not the greatest seats, obviously, because I didn't really get there on time. But still, amazing performances. I love Bill and Ted this year, and this video is very Bill and Ted heavy. So I'm not going to talk about the show. I'll actually talk about it later on. Bill and Ted was amazing. Got to see my girl, hashtag the other one. And that was always awesome. And it's always great to see Bill and Ted perform because they're awesome in every single way possible. We'll talk about putting them over later on. I'll get to that. So, at this point, I was like, alright, because of my Express Pass gave me the 7:30 Express access to Bill and Ted, and no access to Rocky Horror, which is really interesting. There's no Express access to Rocky Horror, I guess because most of the time, with whether it's right or not, they don't really have to worry about a packed Beetlejuice Graveyard review for Rocky Horror because it just doesn't attract the crowds like it should, unfortunately, which is a shame. I didn't get to see Rocky Horror one last time, so my final run-through of Rocky Horror was the Saturday night before this one, and it was the one where we did the callbacks, and I did it with Joe and his family and the guy from the Poor Judgment crew, and that was totally awesome. One of my best Rocky Horror experiences ever. I went back and I checked to see how many times I did everything, and I didn't do that for last year, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look into last year's video, and I'm going to count everything and make sure I go through. That's when I had Foursquare, and Foursquare before it got screwed up, went to Swarm and everything, when you can actually compete for mayorships, which was actually fun, but now I get stickers, and golden stickers. So yeah, there's always that, and that'll tell me what I got to go through and how many times I got to go through them, so I may have a longer list for last year than this year, but we'll see. I'll look back into it and find out. So I go to Halloween, and I finally hit it as my first Express line, and you know what? I'm through, like, instantaneous. It's awesome. Totally awesome. Got to go through Halloween. Insane, insane, insane. Michael Myers on both sides of me at the same time. That was incredible. I know it's kind of like continuity error. Not era, but error, continuity error, like crazy, but still, it was awesome having a Michael on one side and a Michael on the other, so that was really cool. I really like being in that nice atmosphere for Halloween, and every single time, just like with Giggles and Gore, Halloween, the reason why it was the best house of the year and continues to be the best house of the year in almost everyone's mind is the fact that it is so incredible and spot on in its presentation. And like I said, just like you took Danny Madigan's, I think it's Madigan's, Danny's golden ticket from Last Action Hero, and you jumped right into the movie. I mean, it's perfect. Perfect in every single way. Nothing bad can be said about it. So I was like, alright, fine. I'll go over to Giggles and Gore and check the express line. Finally go through the infamous Giggles and Gore express line, and you know, I realized I'm not going to make it. I have like 10 minutes to get over to Bill and Ted, and I'm not going to make it. So I made a judgment call right here. And I was like, if I'm going to make the Bill and Ted showing, I'm going to have to run. So I run, literally, from Giggles and Gore all the way to Bill and Ted. I get in, and like I said, still not great seats, still got a great view, and the show is awesome as it always is. So it's like Bill and Ted, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Bill and Ted, then I'm going to do Roanoke, I'm going to do Bill and Ted, I'm going to do Dollhouse, and then somehow, someway, I'm going to try to get over to Walking Dead before it closes. There was never a moment that I thought that I was actually going to be able to get into The Walking Dead. I could have gotten into The Walking Dead if I were to utilize Express the way that most people do. Now, with Express, for me, it's kind of like how a lot of Disney people use FastPass. I've never was a fan of FastPass. And now with FastPass Plus, I'm still not a fan of it. But it does work if you have it. If you don't have it, it totally sucks. It's like Express. You hate the people that have Express, but if you have it, you use it. But I didn't use it the right way. So maybe in 2015 for 25, I will see about using Express the proper way, and we'll do it that way. Problem is, most of my friends don't have Express, so they want to wait in the line. They don't necessarily want to, but they wait in the lines, and then we can play heads up, and then everything's great and grand and wonderful. So we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen next year. Rush of Fear Pass guaranteed, but I don't know anything more than that. So I go over to Roanoke, and like I said, hashtag mate. And yeah, you just have to. I mean, come on. It's just something you have to say. Mate. It's just the guy dangling and like grabbing for your head. I didn't really notice him the first time on preview night, but every single other night I got him. And like the guy that looked like Ben Franklin on preview night, just like with the Joker reference, never saw it again. Never saw it again. Saw a completely different guy as the guy up top in the finale room. Roanoke started to grow on me more and more as we got into it. Saw the guy. Obviously, you cannot see him very well in show lighting, but when you do the Unmasking the Horror tour, there is a guy, there is a head that is in a noose, and it looks a whole lot like Dave Coulier. So yeah, obviously, A&D needed to cut it out. So yeah, there's always that. I had to make that pun again. So I was like, Roanoke, Dollhouse, back to Bill and Ted. And I was like, Roanoke, fine, good run through, very enjoyable run through. Got out, I was like, nope, can't make Dollhouse. Run over to Bill and Ted. So I got over to Bill and Ted, got my third showing of Bill and Ted, had a great time, great show, hashtag the other one, and everything was amazing. And then I ran into somebody that actually was able to get me a little closer. So shout out to you out there. So I was able to be as close as I possibly could be for my final showing for Bill and Ted. And yes, she was right in front of me, and it was totally awesome. But yeah, it was also the sing-along game, and I don't know how many people that do this or not, but I know a lot of people did, like about 5 to 10 of us in this one section. We were calling out the lines. I don't know if that is frowned upon. I'm sure some places it is, but we were calling out the lines, and we were having a fun time with it. So no one apparently seemed to mind, but we had a good time doing it, and I enjoyed doing it, and the fact that I'm sitting here right now, against my will, in another state that obviously I'd much rather be with you guys right now at Halloween Horror Nights, but I'm sitting here right now, and I myself can still quote the show, and if I walked into a part of the show right now, I could just jump right in and say, you know what? I'll go right in, and I'll say the exact line before it comes out, because I've done my homework, and after this show, I will have seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure for 2014 9 times. Yes, I did it every single night with the exception of preview night, and don't think I'm not going to try harder next year if I somehow am able to get into preview night. Fingers crossed that does happen again, because that was such an amazing time, and I totally enjoyed it. Hopefully Joe and I will be back at preview night next year, but every night of Bill and Ted, I'm going to make sure that I made it, and I was there for every single official night for Halloween Horror Nights for Bill and Ted, and I ended it with 4 Bill and Ted's straight in a row on last night, and added 6 houses to that. So, 6 houses plus Bill and Ted 4 times for my last night. Not bad at all. And that was the end. It was all over. It was completely said and done. I said goodbye to my new friend, and we went our separate ways. I ran into Dr. Jimmy and Charles Bremer from Designing the Fear. We chatted for a while, and basically chatted until they had to go. And shout out to Dr. Jimmy and Charles, 100%. You can check them out, the Designing the Fear on the internet, and also Dr. Jimmy Docimo on YouTube, so you can check them out. Definitely do. Really jam up people, and if you get a chance to hang out with them, I would implore you to do so. Dr. Jimmy has a cornucopia of HHN knowledge. And Charles is really a cool guy to hang out with as well. So yeah, shout out to both of them. They're both awesome. And it's nice to be able to talk to them in great detail about the event. So we said our goodbyes. I went to Bubba Gump and had my last meal on Universal property for September 2014. So yes, Bubba Gump became a favorite of mine. So yeah, I'm probably going to go back there. NASCAR's closed now as of November 1st. So I won't be able to ever go back there. But I got one last meal at NASCAR, and it was on my birthday this year. So that was pretty awesome. So yeah, Cowfish opening. And I will be there for sure when Cowfish opens in December. I know obviously it's going to open next month. But December I will be at Cowfish without a doubt. And who knows? Definitely going back to Bubba Gump, 100% going back to the Hard Rock Cafe, because obviously I'm a Hard Rock Cafe guy. And I do want to be able to check out the NBA City finally, because I have a feeling it's probably not going to be around too much longer, so I probably need to check it out while I still can. Maybe need to go over to Hard Rock Hotel or Portofino or Royal Pacific and check out their restaurants. I need to go over to the kitchen and try that 7-layer cake that Hard Rock has. Really want to try that. That'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, by and large, I had an incredible experience at Halloween Horror Nights this year, and I will talk in depth about everything as of the final Halloween Horror Nights video on this channel for 2014. Unless I get some information, I will bring that to your guys' attention 100% once it happens. So yeah, that was a great show and very enjoyable and a great time had by all. So that was my final night, Halloween Horror Nights 24, and I went right back to Old Key West, had a good night's sleep, went over to Food and Wine the next day. I saw Hanson and took video for the channel, which the only reason it doesn't exist because I need to splice it together. It was pouring the rain down, so I got that video for you guys, but I don't really necessarily have it yet. And I also did that Food and Wine walkthrough that came out yesterday. So yeah, there's always that. So we said goodbye to Universal, and I said goodbye to Halloween Horror Nights for another year, and I would return again to Halloween Horror Nights next year. So Halloween Horror Nights 25, you can 100% guarantee and bet I will be there for opening night, opening weekend in general, and what looks like right now, if everything works out, that Sunday I'm going to fly across the country, fly to LA, and I'm going to meet up with my good friend Tristan, and we are going to go to Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. And then I'm going to spend 3 glorious nights at the Grand Californian with my DVC points. And then after I check out of Disneyland and California Adventure, I'm going to fly the other way. That's not even a word. I'm going to fly the opposite way and go back to Orlando, check into Cabana Bay or Sapphire Falls, depending on what's the situation. Sapphire Falls is open by then. Who knows? I may stay there. But probably Cabana Bay, and I will be there for the last 4 nights of Halloween Horror Nights' second weekend, and then I will leave Monday morning. That is the plan as of right now, and I will not deviate from this plan. So yes, I will return to Orlando in a few days, 52 to be exact, actually. I will be heading down on, and obviously if my math is wrong, I apologize, because obviously I can't do math, but I still get up again. I will also state that I will be returning December 3rd to Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary Resort, staying there one night, hanging out with friends, hanging out with my friends Rich and Ricky, as well as John. We're going to go out hang out Splitsville. That's going to be great. And then the next day, the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, I'll be at Pop Century for Reunion 2014. On the 8th, I check back into Cabana Bay, and I'll be at Universal the 8th, the 9th, the 10th. And on the 11th, I will be leaving that afternoon to head back to the airport to head back here. So yeah, that's the plan as of right now. So, as always, if I did get a chance to talk to you on that Sunday night, I did enjoy the conversation. And this is the end of my Sunday video. So, thank you again for watching all of these Halloween Horror Nights videos, day-by-day coverage of what I got a chance to do on these event nights. And like I said, one more big video coming where I talk about the entire event in complete detail and we break everything down. And like I said, I should be working with the Horror Nights updaters soon when they do another podcast. As long as everything aligns, I should be a part of it. So once that information comes out, I will let you guys know. So, in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet, go to Facebook and click like on our Facebook fan page. Our official Facebook fan page is Suro and Disney Pop on Facebook. I actually might be getting a new Facebook fan page soon. I haven't quite decided yet. I may end up getting just a Suro and Disney Facebook fan page. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Somehow, some way, we'll work it out. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, and a lot of you have, and I totally appreciate it, it is Follow Friday after all. It is at Sir Owen Disney. If you'd like to send me a message via Facebook, you can. It's Owen Disney. Or if you'd like to send me a good old-fashioned email, sirowendisney@gmail.com. So, in the meantime, we will chat Halloween Horror Nights once again very soon. And by soon, I mean a couple weeks, because obviously it's not November yet. Once it is November, I will talk about the event. And that's going to be all we've got to say today. So, in the meantime, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.